they just look like a showgirl or something. I went in and I wanted red and
I'm changing mine to burgundy.
I'm gonna leave them I already got them. So
I got them done, but I'm gonna swap them out.
Those are nice. These I'm not happy with, but it happens. How are you guys doing today? Good?
Great.
Good.
How's an RF going?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Something new, so.
yeah, to be involved, huh?
It's exciting, yeah.
Everything going good with it this year?
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's good, yeah. I think the vibes just, oh my gosh.
Different?
One, honestly, like, and that's in anything, I think. One bad apple
It
in a
ruins the
group
batch.
is, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Cause last year was brutal. It really was. It was hard.
Not to mention names, but.
Yeah, it was, I had actually stepped down.
Mhm.
I wasn't gonna be in it this year. I had stepped down just because I just didn't feel like my energy, it wasn't aligned. I just didn't wanna do it. And,
Yeah.
you know, then this one person, actually there was 4 of us who stepped down at that time because of this one person. And, it was just her intentions, just everything was just not for the right reasons, and you can see it. But anyways, she ended up stepping down because she had pressure, and, you know, which was, you know, I felt like I kind of knew it was gonna happen, I just didn't know when, and I just was like, I don't wanna be in the middle of stuff and then it just blow up, you know? I had already kind of seen it, but anyhow, she stepped down, and so then at that point, everybody called everybody like, she's gone!
And everybody else came
So
back.
everybody went back, and now, and then, you know, we have some young blood, which is amazing, like, their energy is just, honestly, like, it's good, it's really good, so yeah, it's so, I can't even explain it, but
Different.
I was telling them yesterday, I went to this listing appointment, and I, you know, took everything, did everything. As I was driving home, I was like, I don't see myself working with this person. So I called her and I told her, you know,
Really?
I think you need to find somebody else. And she's like, what, why, what happened? I'm like, I just don't think we're fit for one another. I
Was it
couldn't
something
imagine
that triggered
myself
you, like,
working
or
with this
something
lady. Yeah,
that you
she
saw?
just, yeah, I saw a lawsuit at the end. I really did. I saw it. She was just a huge red flag, and I'm like, it's not worth my energy, it's not worth my time, I'll go put it somewhere else. Like, she just was all over the place. And I'm the way I am, I love to try to help everybody as best as I can, and so that was my thing. Like, I'm gonna try my best, I'm gonna, you know, give it my all, but honestly, as I was driving back, I was like, I just didn't sit well with me. My stomach was like, didn't feel well, I'm like, I can't imagine myself dealing with this lady for the next 3-4 months. No, I'm not doing it.
Isn't that something how, you know, and I guess like that was a great opening and intro, like to the start of all of this, you know, inadvertently, not even
Yeah.
realizing it,
Yeah.
because, you know, and the one bad apple, like you said, it can
Yeah.
throw off the whole batch. And, you know, I think more than anything, we've learned that also in our business. I learned it, I think in general, it's learned the hard way. You know, I think that most of us unfortunately learn by experience rather than learning by somebody else saying, you know what, watch the red flags, be careful.
Are
You
you
know.
here for the class? Or you're,
Yes.
okay, sit down.
Come on in, come on in. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, get something to drink. But yeah, like we just learn, you know, sometimes the hard way to protect our energy and to be very careful. And I always say this, like, especially when I see, you know, the younger generation coming into real estate, where I wish I could go back and not waste any time on giving people like chances. Because, you know, a lot of time when people don't have integrity with their words, then they're just, that is their makeup. Like, that's how they are. And giving chances, well, I'm gonna do this, okay, you know, you have more time, or okay, here's another chance, or okay, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, because it does rot the whole barrel. And, you know, I feel like I learned like kind of at a later age, unfortunately, because I was kumbaya. Like, I'm gonna care about everybody, I'm gonna help everybody, I'm gonna let everybody, you know, in. And ever since, I had my injury, I have cleaned house in every area of my life. If I don't see like transparency and congruency and, action with words or, people that have integrity with words, then I cut that off super quickly. So see, like that's what you did with the client. And then that'll open up more doors for other people and other clients to come in that you can better service and pay more attention to.
Yeah.
So,
I like that because of the fact that, and I hope everybody learns this, because sometimes it's hard to like with your client, pass that client, because it's like you think
the
of,
money.
it's the money. It's like, oh, no, I can have this money. But at the same time, like Sonia said, it's gonna be stressful. She saw lawsuit, red flags and everything. So it's always good to take a step back and say, is it worth it? Do I wanna continue with this? What is this gonna lead to? Yeah, ideally, it'll be nice to have that check, but you're putting so much energy with that one client and you're missing all this other opportunity. So if you recognize it early on, it's always nice to pull back and step back and be like, we're not a match, it's not a win-win. And then on top of that, with the organization that you're in, hey, I'm happy that you guys actually like came down, because doing that is a silent stepping, it's like, it speaks volumes, like you want change and you're not for it. So that's great that you guys did that.
Mhm.
Yeah, like Jennifer said, I think, and then you guys being, your age that you are, the same thing, I wish I would have done a lot of things differently. And I'm the type of person, for those of you guys that know me, is I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Like, you have to prove to me, that you have other intentions before I will actually remove myself. And I feel like a lot of people disagree with that, but it's funny because I'm Catholic, I go to church, and that's what they talk about. Jesus never, and I'm not Jesus, but I'm just saying, like, how they say how he doesn't judge, even as he was being crucified, he wasn't upset, he wasn't, he never said anything bad, and I that's how I feel. It's kind of like people are gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and it's on them and not you. Like, that's something I think that, you're gonna even with clients, and I tell them too, same thing. If a client doesn't see eye to eye with you, or is acting in a certain way, I just feel like, and that's one thing, always stay composed. Your emotional intelligence is so important, because it's so easy for you to snap. And I'm sure my face says things, because I went actually on an appointment with another agent that asked me to go with her, and the lady I was getting frustrated with her because the language was really hard to understand, and she wasn't getting what I was trying to say. So I was trying to find the best way to say it, but the agent was like, Sonia, if you would have saw your face, like, and so I'm like, I was getting frustrated because she didn't understand what I was trying to tell her. And so that wasn't a fit, obviously either the language barrier was too hard, but what I'm saying is that I think it's important, especially right now and in the business that we're in, and, and working with clients. And I don't know how you guys, are, because you guys, most of you guys are seasoned and have been in the business and have been doing this year after year. But from your point of view, how do you guys see 2025, or how are you feeling about 2025?
For me, it's always a good market for somebody. It's
Right.
either buyers or sellers. I've been through 3 recessions, and those recessions, I made a lot of money. So it's a good mindset.
Yeah.
I would like, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go
No, go ahead first. And
I
then,
think it's gonna be a good year, but I see the prices is still increasing.
Yeah. It depends too on the area.
And it's
Yeah.
exciting. Either way, it's exciting. You're gonna do business, so it's
Yeah.
exciting,
I think that in the long term, in reality, pricing always increases, unless we hit a major recession. Because, take a look, I always compare it with like an extreme. If you take a look at people that purchased a house, like 40 years ago, they paid $50,000 over in West Covina at 16% interest rate. So the interest rates were high. Like now we're just, sort of spoiled where, we say, oh, 6, 7, 8 is high. They used to be 15, 16, 17%. And so the way that properties appreciate, especially in California, I always think they're always gonna go up, over the course of a decade. That's why you can't ever go wrong investing, well, in California. Other states, not so much. They just kind of sit there and you don't get the power of appreciation in a lot of other states. So I think they're always, unless we're headed to a recession, they're always gonna go up or maintain.
But even in 2008, look, it came back with a vengeance.
It came back,
So
yeah.
even though it went so far down, it just came back up. But if you're not gonna sell, well, you'll stay there and you'll still make money anyway.
Exactly, yeah. Or right now, like a lot of people, we have the 2 and 3% squatters right now, in property, like people that got that 2%, 3% rate. But then, I'm always thinking, well, you have to tell those people, rent that property out. Now's the time to just rent it, because you could do break even or even probably get, more monthly. And then buy something, get out of that property, don't be, a squatter, just sitting there. Because, yeah, in 2, 3, it's that's a perfect opportunity to start building a real estate portfolio for people, to try to talk them out of that 2, 3%. Ghana left on a phone call, but when she gets back, I want her to show you something that she showed me. That's why I had raised my hand, but I don't know if you guys wanted to.
Well, I think no matter how the market, there's gonna be buyers.
Yeah.
Because I told the buyers, they always say, is it the best time? The best time is when you guys are ready.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the rates were 2%, what were you?
Exactly, yeah.
And you asking me right now, is it the
Still
best time?
renting,
It's the best time if you're ready to buy. Because you still need a house.
It's always a good time to buy.
Yeah.
Well,
you still need a house.
I have past clients like that, or I still have them in my, in my roll, I call it the Rolodex. I follow up with them. There's no Rolodex anymore, but
Your
my
database.
database, okay?
Database.
That's
Call
how,
it
I just
database,
aged myself with a
Elizabeth.
Rolodex.
Oh, my.
8 years ago, their homes in Hemet, West Hemet, 250,000, 221, 215. Those people I'm still following up. I'm waiting for the rates to go down. Well, they already went down. Where were you at? I'm waiting for the prices to go down. Well, the area that you're looking at went from that to that. When are you gonna be ready? I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm waiting for what happens in the election. I'm like, okay. So I'm like,
You're waiting for 4 years from now?
yeah, I'm like, for real? And I'm like, okay. So then I literally just have to I have to be creative with them and let them know, listen, if you want to purchase, why don't you purchase now with another family and get a big home? And you guys can make it work, because they're like, the cost of living is too expensive. Well, you know what? If you have family members, maybe a parent or whatever, let's move them all in together and let's work things out. So that's now how I have to become creative with those people.
I said, are you just waiting so the landlord can say leave because I gotta sell the house?
Yeah,
And
that's
then
another
you
one.
come and
Pretty
say, I need a
much.
house. I need to leave the house in my apartment or my house in a month. I go, now we have to check if you can buy.
Yeah, kind of show everybody before you make the comment. I want you to show everybody what you showed me and how you're doing your numbers and tracking your business. Because this is what, everybody should be doing this. And it's simple, yet it takes effort to do.
Yeah, actually, I was talking with my daughter just yesterday when we were going for a walk, and she studied business. So pretty much I was telling her, you need to create a plan for me, and she works with me. That is gonna cause me to just focus on what we need, what I need, what I can accomplish. So it was a pretty simple plan that we did. So she said, how many, because I do real estate and also loans.
Hold it up so you can
Yeah.
see.
So she asked me, how many transactions are you planning to do on the real estate side and how many on the loans? And so I told her this many, right? So I wrote the ones that I want to do on both sides. And then she says, now let's break it into quarters. So there's 4 quarters through the year, right? So then she said, okay, you will have to do so many on per quarter, so that you can reach your goal at the end of the year. And so once we did that, then she said, okay, so, now do you have already prospects, people that are ready, that you've been talking to, or people that you're already working, or that they had already been pre-qualified? And then I said, yes, I do. So then she says, okay, let's start putting them in. So this way you can focus on those people in particular. And obviously, then as you continue throughout the days or whatever, then if you get somebody else extra, then that will be extra that you will have. But focus, to make it simple and you don't see so many names or people that you have as prospects or people that people refer you, then just focus on those. And so I did every quarter for each one and put the names. And we are already on the third quarter based on the few things that I had already spoken with them, and I had already know what are the challenges on the lending side. And that's what I did. So it's very simple. I'm still old fashioned, so I still write things down, but she put it on an Excel form. And so this way you can kind of focus on what you want this quarter without having to worry too much until the end of the year. Then, that's how it's gonna, I hope that it's gonna work for me because it's very simple. And then one thing that I wanted to share that I've seen, and some people don't want to do it, but I have done it and they have accepted my offers because they were saying, oh, if you ask for this. We as a real estate agents have the opportunity to negotiate offers. Sometimes they will say yes and sometimes they will say no, but at least you can try. For some of your clients that are challenging, that they can make the payment, but it's a little challenging, you can kind of structure something that is called 2-to-1 buy down. I don't know if you guys heard about that program, but it's a pretty good program because if the interest rate now is at 6.25%, and then let's say that we want to start at 2%, so it's gonna the payment for the new buyers is gonna be at 4.25% for the whole year. And the reason why we're doing this is to get the opportunity for the rates to go down by the end of the year, or however it's gonna happen. Like I said, we're waiting for the years. So then this way they can start adjusting into, let's say by October, the rates went down, they can refinance then and bring their payment into that amount. So that is one opportunity that you have also to share the clients. And when you go to listing presentations, like I just went to this Saturday, to this one in Rosemead, and doesn't matter your age, because I guess all of us were your age, the ones that are younger at one point, and it was very challenging because I remember being 23 and people didn't want to allow me to represent them because they saw me so young, and it's their investment, the money that they've been saving. So pretty much what I will suggest also is that if you prepare yourself before the appointment by asking them the right questions, like, okay, how much you own the property and all these, because some agents don't do that. But when I had already asked them when I went there, and they only owe $20,000, okay, on this property. And the property is listed, I was thinking the way that I saw it, and it's a lot of work. I said maybe $750, so we can have an investor come and add an extra room, and they can sell it for maybe $950. So that will be something that it will be very easy for them, unless you want to fix it, because you only owe $20,000 and we can get the money out. And they said, no, we don't want to deal with this. We just want to move. They want to buy a triplex because the father has 2 sons and they are already married, and so the children cannot afford to buy. So that's how they're gonna buy. And I showed them my property already because I had a few. My plan was already set. That's pretty much what I'm trying to tell you. You have to set the plan before you meet with them, so that you can say, okay, so you mentioned that you wanna have 3 children, and the area nearby that has triplex is Azusa. So I found this. So they already, like, you already are putting yourself ahead of other agents that at times they don't not prepare like that. And then the other thing that he liked really much was the fact that I was talking about capital gains, because they're gonna be selling at $750, but they only owe $20. So I was explaining about that part, which is very simple. I'm sure that you guys heard, but if not, if the person has lived in the property for 3 years, then what happens is that they qualify for, it's called, if they're husband and wife, 250, that they can not pay taxes on. And then, is that right?
500.
But, so we're, between
Yeah.
them, so 250
Yeah.
and 250.
It's
So it's 500.
250
For
for
each.
each one.
Yeah, per each, so it's 500, okay? And so this way, you can explain to them, okay, so how much are we gonna invest in the other property? So this way you can, not pay so much or nothing on capital gains. So when I was explaining that, then I said, now let me, okay, so when they were clear, I said, let's sign the contract. Let me explain page by page, what are you signing? And he says, I don't need to know, just tell me where I sign. Like, they feel that I know my business. And I think that that was one of the things that helped me in the past when I was younger, like you guys' age. Because it was hard to get the business. I don't know if that happened to you when you started, but it was hard because, they see us young. And I will always tell them, well, let me explain to you. Let me talk. And then if after I go over with you, if you don't feel comfortable, I understand. But age is just a number. But the knowledge that I think I got and the information that I want to share with you. So that's one thing that I think it will help you guys that are young.
Age, and it is just a number. Like, if you think about it, there's people that are in their mid-20s that are super educated and knowledgeable, and then there's people that are 40 and 50s that are just not. They're not versed in their business. So I think, like what you said, it's preparation, and I think that's for all of us too. I never stop reading, like, we have to go outside of, let's say, the standard practice and the norm, go outside and find books that we're gonna be learning
So
from,
that they can see it.
like find resources, like she mentioned things regarding taxation. So taxation's a lot of stuff that we'll tell our clients, oh, go see your CPA. Okay, we have to do that for individual situations, but how powerful is it if you actually know about taxation and you start talking
You
about
can
it
take a
to
picture if
say,
you wanna.
you know what, this property, you'll save on taxes, you won't be paying, whatever amount on if you do a 1031 exchange. Or, like, do you, like, how do you operate? Are you operating through corporation or individually? Like, if you know these things, they're gonna say, I know this person's a professional and I know they know what they're doing. At the end, of course, say, well, get with your CPA because every tax circumstance is different. But like, having knowledge of all of these things is very powerful. So a lot of the confidence comes from being prepared and seeking that knowledge, and looking for it. We have to look for it. We can't just wait for people to teach us. I'm still learning, like the tax regulations are changing all of the time. And so I'll just, go online or I'll find out who's really good at teaching this. And then, I'll order the book and I'll read about it, or I'll actually reach out and have conversations with my banker,
Or your title rep.
or like a
Oh, the
title
title
rep,
rep.
or, your CPA, like talk to them and ask them, well, why, why is it like this? Or what is this regulation? It's having like those conversations with very educated, well-versed people, versus like staying in our box. Because a lot of the time in this industry, it's easy to get like hyper-focused and you're in a box, like doing the same thing, every day in and day out, rather than talking to that CPA or, learning more, because that makes you a better agent, the more you know about property and real estate.
Can I continue?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Because I wanted to say that because I was prepared with only 2 properties, because I only took 2. I said, I don't know if they want a SUSA, but I have to figure it out where, because not all the cities have 3, and they needed 3. So I found 2 on Azusa, and I said, if you guys want, and if you guys have time, it's like 10 minutes away from here, we can go and see them, because actually there were 2 that were vacant. And so they say yes. And so I called the agent, I said, it's such a short notice, but it's vacant and I would like to bring him over. And she said, yes, let me give you the code, the CSS code. And so we went and they like one, and actually we're gonna receive an offer, and it's $1.5 million, but we're gonna put the 700 from that property, and they're gonna finance the difference, and the 3 are gonna be living in that. And so it's just, I was amazed on how when you are prepared, and I'm not prepared all the time, but with this one, because sometimes I'm like, I'm running out of time, I already know, but that gave me again the reassurance that I have to be prepared and I have to make the time to be prepared. And I cannot say, I know, I'm just gonna go like that. So that was another like reconfirmation, yeah.
Success story.
It's very good.
I'll give some advice for the young ones.
We're all advising the young ones.
The young ones. I feel like this is the young club. No, because we were there ourselves, so I would always have someone with me at my appointments, someone in the business. And then the other thing being obviously well-versed, because you never want to be asked, how long have you been in the business? Because once they ask you that, it's like they already know that there's something in the cracks, something you may have said, maybe inexperience that they see. It could be anything. So always have someone that's been in the business go with you. They'll shadow you. They'll be there, because ideally what's gonna end up happening is that even if they were to ask that question, you can always say, well, we've been in the business for over X amount of years. And that could be the person that you're with, even the affiliates that you work with. If you think about it, title rep, escrow, we've been in the business for over X amount of years. And see, that sounds so much better. But always shadow, always learn something new, always be well versed, find out what's going on in the industry, in the area that you are going after, find out what's new and up and coming in the cities that you're in.
The details.
The details, if you know details of the city, maybe there's a brand new shopping center, a brand new store coming up, it helps. Go to even City Hall and ask what up and coming things are happening there. And you can bring that with you. If you're in Upland, they have so many events going on. If it's not the Lemon Festival, it's always something going on, but always be well versed and just find out more. But yeah. The young ones, the young crowd.
I don't know what was gonna be. I don't know if everybody's supposed to share or not. It's my first time
Absolutely.
that I'm coming.
No, this is why, this is in person, because usually we are on the screen and then we're talking, like we're going through market updates or what is happening, and it's usually us three. So we wanted everybody here to share, because that makes us better. If you guys share, it's real life situations that are going on right now, that are happening. So
I have a question. I want to know from everyone, do you find that the listing of the sellers are still paying their commissions and everything's flowing as normal? Or are you getting some pushback on some things?
I think they still.
I see all the
They say
comments.
how you
It's normal.
approach, the situation.
I think that maybe 80% are going with paying the buyer's agent. But I had one, and that's what I'm saying. I had one that they didn't pay, so my buyers had to pay. But normally 80%, 90%, they're going with the flow.
That's good, yeah. Because I'm encouraging my listing people to just, yes, this is what's coming, and it's,
But you're educating your listing agent, I noticed, so you're educating your clients and telling them, you know what, look, this is how it is, and we still have to pay the selling agent. I think it's the listing agents that are not going in and pre-preparing their client to understand that they still have to pay the selling agent commission, is where there's a break.
I have it in my presentation, my listing presentation, and I do the brackets. This is what you get at this percentage, this percentage, this percentage, and this is what can happen if you don't give anything. And so I
You
do.
have a sale.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
This
yeah.
is like,
This,
if
and
you
that.
pick number 4, you do not get to talk to me.
Option 5, you don't even have to
Don't call me.
If
This is what I charge, and this is what I have to pay.
Exactly. So, and then I give them the pros and cons. Okay, so if you don't pay the agent's commission, you're at the risk of the property being on the market longer, not selling, not showing. It's like that, I do that. Because then they always get very fussy. They can get fussy. They're like, well, I don't need to pay that person's commission. They can have their own people pay that. I'm like, no, this is what happens. This is the consequences.
I haven't had that at all.
I have, some people say, what I have to pay the buyer's agent too. I say, well, let me ask you something. Do you like to work for free? No, okay, so that's their job. So bring you the buyer for your house. How you like to work for free? They don't like to work for free. We don't work for free. So
You tell them,
what do you think?
you tell them. That's a very blunt, good way to put it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, obviously it's important how we communicate.
Yeah.
I find that, well, obviously now, I mean, don't forget to watch Ashley talk about, the listing contract tomorrow. I think it's super important if you haven't done a listing. Make sure you're filling it out correctly, because part of your new presentations are not discussing buyers, agents, commissions. It's discussing your commission as a listing agent. But it is important to just let them know, like they're saying, that, because when you tell them, oh, like she was saying, this is what we charge as a listing agent. I'm no longer negotiating buyer's agent. Buyer's agent will negotiate theirs upon, submission of offer. So you may end up being asked to pay 3%. And just on my last listing that we just did, I got a 3% offer, I got a 2%, and I got a 1%, and I got no commission asked. So everybody's asking differently depending on how they want to structure their offer. So how I make it seem to my sellers is that it's a win for them. And what I tell them is, before, I used to have to negotiate ahead of time what you were gonna pay to someone, and we were obligated to pay that because it was put in the MLS and we had to pay that agent the amount we agreed to.
Yeah.
Now, you guys get the opportunity to negotiate. You don't like the offer, you can negotiate the commission, or you don't have to pay commission. It's your choice. But if you get a great offer, obviously you're gonna wanna, reward that agent because they brought you that winning offer. And they're like 100%.
That's an excellent explanation.
Yeah.
Can you repeat so I can record?
You have it right here. That's it right there.
It's recorded.
So
Yeah.
that's what I tell them, and they're like, okay, like they're excited about it because they feel they're in control. And that's ultimately what it is.
That's
I have a question. So let's say that you, that they agree to pay you 4%. Now, then if a buyer comes and they don't ask for that and you accept their offer, then you get to keep the 4%.
No. So again, we have to watch the video tomorrow, or watch Ashley tomorrow.
No, the reason that I'm asking this and I'm gonna watch it is because before, all these changes, like if I was gonna be representing the listing agent, right? So I'm asking for 6% commission, and then 4% I will put it,
You can't
there
do
was
that
a space
anymore.
4% and 2%.
Yeah, you can't, that's not how it's
Yeah.
negotiated.
Yeah.
So again, on the contract, there's no buyer's agent commission. It's all, listing agent. You can't negotiate it at that time. You can talk to them about it, because usually most sellers, I mean, I don't like to do dual agency, that's my own preference. I rather, call one of my agents and say, here, you represent the buyer, because like Jennifer says, she doesn't wanna be, how can she defend both sides? It's really tough, that you have, a really hard time being on that fine line. And so what I usually tell my sellers, because a lot of times, what do the sellers tell you? If you represent both sides, will you give me a discount? Why would I do that? Like, yes, you're gonna make more than you would as a listing agent, but you have more liability and responsibility. So why would you do that to yourself?
No, but I think maybe my question wasn't clear. I don't think that's what I meant. What I'm saying is, if he's, okay, for example, this listing that I got, I said, pay me 4%, right? So he's paying me 4%.
Okay,
Now, when the buyer's agent send an offer, either we're gonna have someone that is not asking for anything, and so because I request 4% for me, it's 4% for me, correct? Yeah.
well,
Yeah, it
okay,
should be.
so I think
It's on the listing
it's not like it was
Yeah, it should
before.
be.
But it's her.
Yeah, so
I know,
she-
but I think in her mind.
She's not sharing
So like,
any of
let's just say, for instance, I'm a buyer's agent.
Yeah.
right? Okay, so hold on a second, so I'm a buyer's agent, I come and present you an offer and I'm asking 3% from your seller. What's the understanding? How are you gonna present that to your seller?
I'm gonna
Based on
present-
based on your contract that you have for 4%.
You're
I'm gonna-
asking them
yeah,
for 3
I'm
more?
Yeah, because that's what it is.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, so you negotiated 4 for you only?
Yes.
Okay, yes, then that's correct.
Yeah.
So because you kept going back to the other contract, so I wasn't sure, because a lot of people would negotiate 4, but then they were gonna give 2 and 2.
Yeah, for
So,
the minor,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
minor,
you
that's
can't
So
do
that's
the
why I
four.
wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that you had that that you were
She's got the
clear.
4% listing,
Yeah.
she's keeping it.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, I just wasn't sure, because what I'm saying is whatever they agreed to, no, because I actually just got another listing from somebody else who, they were under contract with a different agent, and the agent had 6% in her listing agreement, but obviously she didn't fill out her contract correctly.
Oh, she intended to share the other.
Yeah, she intended to
Oh,
share
wow.
it, the other way around, because when I saw her estimate on her HUD, it was 3 and 3. But what I'm saying is that's why I wanna make sure, because you're not filling it out correctly, and that's not your intention, is what I'm saying, so,
Yeah, that's what I
Right.
wanted to clear.
Yeah, the seller can pay whatever they want to pay.
Yeah.
So that's their choice.
and you tell that, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I just wanna add something else, another question, just to be clear on my mind, but also, so let's say that I was about to represent the buyer. Okay, that I'm representing the seller, but I decide, okay, I have a client, I'm gonna represent the buyer.
Mhm.
At that moment, when I'm representing the buyer, I can just ask for 1 point for buyers.
yeah, you have to have a buyer broker agreement before, obviously showing
Yeah, but the
property.
seller to pay me for that.
Yes,
1%.
and then
Okay.
you can, however you submit your offer, yeah, you
Oh,
can
I
ask
just
for.
wanna make sure because there were so many changes and I don't really do much of the real estate side, I do more of the business.
Yeah,
I have a question on that respect too. But when I represent a buyer, on the contract, with my, say, okay, I'm charging the buyer 2%. Okay, then I present an offer, so I have a contract for 2% with the buyer.
Yeah.
Then I write up a contract and I ask the seller to pay the 2%. So then I show them page 5, whatever I'm supposed to, on my buyer's contract. So if they don't wanna pay, or they wanna pay 1 and I pay, and the buyer pays 1 or 2, and that's, everything is negotiable on that respect, and they will just come back with a counter offer, and they can counter with the commission as well as the price, whatever they want.
yes,
And then I can let my client know, well, yes or no, what do you wanna do? So it's, everything is negotiable.
yes.
On that respect. But I have to show the page 5.
You don't have to
I
really
thought-
show,
I
I
thought
don't
there was-
submit
I thought
with
there
that
was a
anymore.
page.
You did, I mean, I don't see anyone doing it anymore. I think it's since the SPVB is done away with, I haven't seen anybody submit that.
Because they don't
anymore, and I
really need to
haven't
see
used
that,
it.
So how, no,
Yeah.
but how do you know, like, say they're asking for 3%, but with their, and they're asking for 10%.
The buyer on the contract,
Uh-huh.
on the second page where you mark, you want seller to pay, it says on there, as a buyer, you are confirming that you have a buyer broker agreement matching what they're asking,
Yeah.
and not more, less, not more. So it says that there,
That's
that
what I'm
verbiage is there.
confused about, because I know you can't double dip, but what if they, yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can always sign 3%, I mean, it makes sense to,
Uh-huh.
because you don't know what someone's gonna pay. So always make, but talk to your clients and just let them know, there's an additional form, car released, I don't know the form number exactly, but it shows down the breakdown to a buyer, so you can show them, like, if this person's only paying this, I'm willing to renegotiate with you, you're not stuck in that 3%. So it helps them understand that. But if I were all of you, I would always sign for 3%.
Unless there's, there's multiple offers and your buyer really wants the house, right?
That's really up to you. I
No,
mean, it
because
depends how strong your offer is.
I had a client, I had a previous client call me because his niece got into the business just like 6 months ago, she was new. And he was so upset with her because she asked for a commission and he didn't get the house, and he blames her because she asked for a commission. And her office, because she was under the brokerage, told her, you have to ask for a commission. And the buyer did not want the commission offered in the offer. So when he called me for advice, and I told him, you're under contract with another brokerage, I can't give you any advice. I said, all I know is everything's really confusing right now, and a lot of people don't know. That's all because I know we can't give advice when they're under contract with somebody. But that was a good lesson that I learned, put that in the back of my mind, because if somebody really, really wants the house. And,
But I think it depends how strong the offer is
Yeah,
as well.
right, yes.
Because they can always take a look at the numbers and counter it. I mean,
It
there's
was
really
a
no
full
harm
price
in.
offer, and that's what he was.
Was he gonna
upset.
pay the commission?
He said he was gonna pay it to her, yes, but she still asked in the contract, in the offer.
Oh, well, maybe that was a rookie mistake.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, that's why it's very important that we ask the
Yeah.
buyers if they're willing to pay the commission, and when you're showing houses, how much they, like, normally I would say, okay, from 1 to 10, tell me which number would you give this? So then you start, okay, so you, on these two, you are number 10, okay, how much you want it, because right now with the change of law and everything, then we cannot really ask for them to pay me the commission. But if you're okay paying me the commission, I'll make sure that I'll get this house for you. So you have to be clear with your buyer too. Because that happened to me with my buyer, and I was very clear with him, and I said, okay, and with her, with the wife. They're not paying the commission, but we're giving them full price still. Are you okay? Because you're gonna be paying based on the contract that we signed prior on. And they said yes, because they really wanted the house in Norwalk.
I think the most important thing that you should do as a buyer's agent is build a relationship with the listing agent. Call the listing agent, find out, what the seller's expecting, what are they working against, and honestly, there's gonna be a lot of agents who are gonna say, I can't tell you, which is BS, because they can, but they just don't want to. But, so there's gonna be some that are gonna be open, and there's some that aren't gonna be open, but I think trying to establish that, I wanna know, like, for instance, on our last listing, we had several offers, and to me, it's just numbers, because who's gonna perform? So I wanna see who's serious and who's really there to help their buyer. So the communication is so important, because like I was telling you, we had a 3%, we had a 2%, 1%, and no percent. The offer we selected paid 3%. So to me, it wasn't about the commission, and either to my client. We looked at each offer as, what the strengths are, and it just wasn't price. We didn't go with the highest offer either. We went with the strongest, offer as far as qualification. They took off all the contingencies except a 5-day inspection, but no appraisal, no loan. And so the FHA had 0 commission and offered way more, but again, had to appraise. So that price is in the air. It's non-existent. So again, you have to really educate your seller. And I think a lot of agents, unfortunately, listing agents aren't very familiar. So they don't really know, and they're not really doing the best job for their client. So I just think that you should really try to establish that, and that way you can get feedback to your buyer and say, this agent is not cooperative. That way they understand. She's really not, being responsive. She's not receptive to anything. There's, already, it's a vibe, right? You feel the gut, like, okay, this person is avoiding you for a reason.
Do you like it when the agents, because I completely believe that, I think it's all relationships. And, the talking and communication and finding things out from the listing agent. How do you feel like as a listing agent, when agents call you, are you open and receptive? Do you talk? Do you
I talk
communicate?
to everybody.
Or do you not answer the phone? Like,
No.
there's some that don't answer the phone, and then, with those, I would say probably just do the best that you can with, like email or other forms of communication.
No, I'll answer, as long as I'm not with the client, of course I'll answer.
And talk to them.
I'd rather know who I'm gonna work with.
Absolutely.
So I
Yeah,
wanna get a feel for
absolutely.
who I'm working with, like, again, you're gonna be in a relationship with this person for the next, 30, 45 days,
Days.
whatever it is. So you wanna be sure that they even answer their phone. If they're calling me and showing me that they're, working hard for their client, that tells me a lot, because people don't even pick up the phone.
Exactly.
And you don't even
Yeah,
know-
that's a huge indication.
How do they even know if you got the offer?
Oh, I had a listing agent, yeah. She wasn't calling.
Would it pick up the phone?
I gave her the offer, I texted her, I emailed, I was on, and then, they picked another offer, but they had already, I think they already had, but they just,
Settled on it, but that's also an
It's just-
indication for you on how your transaction's
Yeah.
going to go with that listing agent.
yeah,
It doesn't communicate and talk.
it was not, gave me a bad taste in my mouth, because even I'm a listing agent and I call, even if I have to, that news to, especially you want, you don't want to keep that buyer hanging. You want to let them know, okay, they chose another offer. And like you said, it's not necessarily the
Yeah.
highest price. It's if I can have 5 offers in front of me, and just by the way they wrote the offer, I can know who I'm gonna have trouble with.
Right.
And, if they're sloppy or they're not giving me this
Yeah.
offer and they don't have all their ducks in a row, how's the rest of the transaction gonna go?
Yeah, no, that's so true. A lot of offers we get are incomplete. I had one that I got, they marked the seller to pay compensation, but there was no percentage. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, they must not wanna get paid, that's not my problem. So, yeah, but again, it does say a lot about, who you're gonna work with. And, you're in a relationship to make it work. At the end of the day, you want your seller to be happy and you want the buyers to be happy too. So that's why you encourage your sellers to disclose and do everything that they need to do to be right when they pass the property. But yeah, I just had one this weekend where I was gonna go show a property and I called the agent and, cause it says call, see, this is another thing. If you're listening to, why do you want people to call you for showing instructions? That makes no sense to me. Because who has, that I don't have time for. Like that, seriously, it just doesn't, I can't understand that. But anyhow, so I call her, she answers, and I told her I would like to show your property. She says, well, I have a combo on there. I said, okay. She says, so can you text me a copy of your driver's license? And I told her, no, I'm not sending you my driver's license.
What? Business card.
Business card.
Yeah, and she goes, well, my client requires to see your driver's license. I said, I told her, I'll send you a copy of my picture and my name, but I'm gonna I'm gonna black everything else out. She says, well, don't black your address out. I said, why? You don't know my home address. And she wanted to give you cookies.
That
She's like, it's public record, your address. I said, no, it's not. She goes, it's on the DRE. I said, no, it's not. And so then I looked up her address. Well, her address is on the DRE.
So she didn't change it to the address. You should send her a thank you card.
Honestly, I was just like, who has time for that? So she told me my seller requires it because I have a combo. I don't have an electronic lockbox. I said,
But what
well,
does that
get one.
mean?
So that, again, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's those
That's a
things
new
that
one.
is she a new agent? No.
Oh, wow. Worse.
But she probably doesn't do no business. You know how that goes. Doesn't matter how old your license is.
Yes.
We don't know what kind of business you do.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. They make it harder on themselves for what it really needs to be. So that's just,
Wow,
I
that
did-
was an interesting
I do
share.
a lot of observation, especially because with a listing, under private agent remarks, I say no frivolous offers. If you didn't see the home, don't send me an offer. And I already know who's seen the home because obviously you get the notifications. I know that this agent showed it, And then I say exactly what I want. I go, disclosures are in the supplements. So make sure you read the disclosures, because I don't want questions during the transaction. Don't ask me how old the roof is, it's on the disclosures, okay? And none of that. So disclosures must be signed, send me the offer and everything specific, okay? So I got like 5 offers on this listing right now. And then out of the 5 offers, out of all the 5, how many do you think that actually followed instruction?
No.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't want to read all these things.
2, because I made it specific. I'm like, okay, if your buyer wants this, then send me, and I hope that they read the disclosures. Then the other ones rushed me. Did you show my offer? Did you show my offer? I go, did you go through the disclosures? Oh, we're gonna go there and do that right now. No, because we're actually presenting offers now. So I already had there's already hesitation with those type of agents because they're like, no, we just want our offer rush. While the other agents, they were like just chilling. I'm like, we'll wait, we'll see which one you'll like present or whatever. And we went with a good offer, strong offer, and filled everything completely. It's been on top of everything, so it's been good. So yeah, like Sonia said, you kind of already know, or see like who you're going to deal with how they either present the offer, how they follow a structure, and how they're gonna, so on and so forth. And yes, I agree with her. If you are contacting me for showing instructions on the listing, I would die. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
You're tying up my phone line where someone else could be calling me to list their home, right?
Yeah. Tell us how you really feel.
On your supplement, in the listing, do you put your TDS and your?
I put everything, all of that is in there.
Oh, wow,
That's
that's
a
a
good idea.
good idea.
I, you know, okay, so fun fact, you know where I learned that from? Guess what? Guess what company I learned that from? Open Door.
Oh, yeah,
they
they
do
do
that.
that, yeah.
Oh, in order for you to submit an offer, they have all the disclosures right there. And you have, like, from the ones that I've had to submit, they want you to have those disclosures signed, their disclosures for their company signed as well, and then your offer and everything specific afterwards. So ever since then, it's made my life so easier. Because I don't have to hear, and I don't have to ask for disclosures during the process, because it's already been there and I already got it back.
And the RE/MAX is.
Yes, everything is there.
That's so nice.
And then some of them, and then some agents unfortunately have signed the VP, and I'm like, oh, why did you have your seller sign the VP? We haven't even closed yet. That's a disclosure you can give me like 12, yeah, no, I get the VP signed well. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, some agents and the VP.
Yeah, they have the VP signed, but I'm okay with it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I got my disclosures back, and then I don't have to fight for them.
That's only if you're representing the.
Seller.
Yeah.
That's seller, yeah.
Yeah, that's a seller thing. So yeah,
Exactly.
everything is on the supplements. Life is a lot easier.
Yeah. But otherwise, we don't sign the VP.
No, I'm like, why are you
Ahead of
signing?
time.
Why are you having your buyer sign the VP and we're just opening escrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys have fun yet? You guys learned something? The new ones are very quiet.
How is it going?
What are your thoughts? Huh?
How the right now for the AI is so popular.
Artificial intelligence?
And yeah, how it's marketed for our business. Sometimes I feel like it's retired, doesn't feel that AI, they can do everything.
AI is beautiful. I love it. AI gives me my property description. AI does my emails for me. AI says the nice stuff that I like. Oh yeah, especially when I don't want to say what I want to say. But
We'll
it
know
says
when
it
you're
nicely.
using AI.
Yeah.
by the way.
Description AI.
Because so many, I don't know America, the Asian, they do 小红书, you know, they do all like the video. Is on there. Some is not like they are real listing. They just do everything, almost everything.
AI.
No, on the 小红书, they use AI like photo, whatever, everything.
Okay.
And some maybe not true. I don't know, people, they just asking, like my class, oh, why they post on this one, it's popular, is on this website,
Who knows?
and yeah, I don't know sometimes, you know, how we talk to this buyer.
I don't know. I'd like to pick their brains. I like to pick that person. That one I wouldn't be able to answer. I'm sorry. But AI does work.
Yeah, I know description, I use AI, it's very good.
Yeah, you can do everything with AI.
AI is like a
That's scary.
good friend. I really would like to hear from you guys.
Who hasn't talked today? Raise your hand. Who, I already know who hasn't, but hand up in the air. Hi, who hasn't talked?
I'm gonna ask you guys questions.
Okay.
No, keep
So,
going.
yeah, okay, all of you guys.
When you guys were talking about how to like mitigate people you want to work with and not, and you guys are established, have professional momentum. It's just sometimes for us, we just have our wheels spinning, you know, we're just trying to go. So what are some red flags that we should kind of look out for? Because we just want business, you know what I mean? We're kind of trying to get our foot in the door as fast as possible.
You know that feeling sometimes that you get in your gut when you just know something is not quite right, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And already in your head, like sometimes when you have to ask the question, like we already know the answer. You know, when you have to ask, well, why is that individual, you know, behaving that way? Or, man, you know, that wasn't cool, that wasn't wonderful. Like you get that gut feeling, because it's really hard to pinpoint like one item or another, because there's so many different things that happen in real estate. I mean, you can have somebody that maybe they're not a great communicator, but maybe they're a really good client. You know, maybe they just mean business and don't really know how to communicate in a great way, but they're a closer and they, you know, just want to get things done. So like for me, and you guys could answer that as well, but what I have felt over and over in my business, like, is that gut feeling where, because our bodies, and it may sound hokey dokey or, you know, whatever it is, but like we know more than our intuition knows better than anything else. When you say, wow, you know, why am I wasting my time with this person? Like, why are they sending me in circles? Like, you know, when you're asking questions like that, it's a red flag. And then sometimes we try to justify it like, well, maybe they're okay. Maybe, you know, they just had a bad day, or, you know, maybe this, maybe that. Like when you're justifying people's, you know, behavior, that's another red flag. Because what happens is just like what Sonia had happened to her, she's been doing this, I think, so long and now so versed in people and, you know, like real estate, and what happens that she went on that appointment and she got like a feeling like, you know, it's not for me. But what if she would have got herself tied into that? Because like those type of clients, they end up becoming a huge distraction. And it goes like in the same thing, and you know, even for what I'm doing now, like whether it's staffing or, you know, people that I want to work with on projects or people that I want to do business with, if it starts becoming an issue or I feel it in my gut, I'd rather walk away, because there's plenty of opportunity. There's no lack of opportunity out there. So for me, it really is the gut. Every single time, like it's always been right.
Yeah.
And we should listen.
So Yasmin actually had gotten a lead off of Instagram, someone that wanted to do a lease listing. So she chimed me in on it. We were the three of us on there, and that was a red flag. And the reason why was, and she kind of saw me going back and forth with this person, because like I told you, I'm the type of person that I want to feel that I gave every opportunity possible before me just walking away from it. So this particular person wanted to put her house up for lease, but she's not even on title. Okay, so so I had told her we can't go. You know, it was her boyfriend, and I guess he had a stroke. He was in the hospital. So unfortunately, I told her you need to figure something out, because I don't know if you have a power of attorney or what. And so I could tell she was nervous or whatever. But she was just like, "Can you come over right now?" Like,
oh my.
And I'm like, I'm at an appointment right now. Like, you know, I can see you in a couple hours. No, you gotta come right now. And what? So it just got to the point where I just told her, you know, it's a waste of our time, because this person doesn't respect our time. You know, she wants us to jump through hoops. Who even knows what the hell's going on? If something, God forbid, something happens to him, we're done. You know,
Plus, that's how that person's going to behave throughout the entire transaction.
So
as well.
we just kind of just dropped it. So that would have been an example of.
And you know, like on social media, Sonia, a lot of what I'm getting right now from a lot of agents that are really like heavy on social media is, and it's also a red flag, you know, like a client that maybe doesn't want to talk to you on the phone prior to meeting with you, because they're on your social media and then they're messaging agents on social media saying, well, you know, meet me at your office at such and such time. I'm interested in buying or selling. Well, then why won't you talk to me, you know, to like pre-qualify? So what comes to me is that they're trying to sell something to you, you know, like they want to Cause salespeople, like, they'll wanna get in front of you, a lot of them, and they wanna get you in your office, get in front of you, and who knows what they're trying to sell, you know, some product, service, whatever, it could be something like that. So I think, you know, things like that that you just have to sift through, you don't wanna waste your time. Time is everything in life, actually, not just in this business, time is everything in life.
Here's a red flag that's popular right now, that's been happening for a little bit, for like a hot minute. You get the random text messages of, hey, I saw your social media, or I saw your website, whatever it is, and I see that you're a realtor. I'm out in, what was the last one I got one? I'm out in Sacramento, I wanna buy in Moreno Valley, maybe because you specialize in that area or whatever, and I'm approved for X amount of dollars, can you help me? Those are red flags, those are spams, those are just trying to get you, catch your attention and make you feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta leave. No, that's just block. And or they're gonna catch you on WhatsApp if you have WhatsApp, same thing. I'm overseas client, I have $1 million, $1 billion I wanna spend, and I wanna buy a $500,000 shack somewhere. That is a red flag. But those have been a little bit popular. It's been happening to me last year, and then I was like, oh, what the
A lot
heck?
of, in the emails as well. Right?
And emails as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the emails are fun because they won't even put a phone number, nothing. It's just an email. But look at the email, because the email looks kind of weird as well. It'll be like all the letters in the alphabet at gmail.com. So you know that that's just trying to make you hot and warm and fuzzy, and it's not a deal.
And then those are like, those are kind of like out there and exactly red flags. But
Or can you show me this property at 6 p.m.? That's a red flag.
or immediately.
Yeah.
But the more subtle ones, you'll just feel more internally.
I had a guy last year that called me and he said, I have all cash, I want to buy this property, told me the property, what he wanted, and I said, okay, he says, I'll send you all my financials and everything, I want to put an offer. I said, I don't need your financials, when do you want to look at it? He said, oh, well, look at it tomorrow, but I want to send you over everything. And good thing I'm not that savvy with computers and with the texts and all that. He texted me, something and he wanted me to open it. And I told him, I said, I don't need, he said, I have all my financials here, just open this text and it has all. And I said, I don't need it, look, do you want to see the property tomorrow or not? I don't need to see anything. I was getting frustrated with him. And he got mad at me. He started cussing at me and I just hung up.
Oh yeah, I had one of those last year.
Wow.
Yeah, they cussed me out in a text message.
Oh,
okay.
Well, what happened was I didn't know what he was saying because he had an accent and he was telling me, so he was telling me something, I said, what, 3 times? He used the F word and I didn't understand it. And then when he spelled it, I started laughing and I hung up. I thought, oh my gosh, this guy, but how many agents are going to fall for that because he's all cash, he said all cash. I'm sending you my financials. And I knew there was, trust your gut, there's something not right, I don't need it.
Don't, and don't open those links.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We get a lead.
Don't open those links.
Well, Maria got her first listing.
Awesome job.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
It's my friend. Yeah.
Very
Um,
good.
I went up there. 350 right now.
Yes.
In Lucerne Valley.
Oh,
I
nice.
know it's far.
Plug the
It's fun.
listing, square footage, how many bedrooms?
Oh, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, and it's 5 acres. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, and then
5. Wow.
yes,
Build another
Yeah.
property.
it's in the middle of nowhere, but
Actually, there's an
It's
experience.
been an experience.
Yeah,
That's not a way to
absolutely.
market the property, lady.
I know, I know, right? Oh my God, I have so many stories
You have to
about
say
this,
it's an
but
up and coming area.
yeah, I'm gonna work on all that. I'm learning.
It's
so-
like
you're on your way to make
And knowing me, I would start with the bad,
Yeah.
but I won't do that.
Okay,
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, it's us, so it's okay.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah, but it's
You
been
know,
a great
it's, like I'm
experience.
saying, they're definitely a fresh, set of eyes and blood and everything else. They're doing a lot of social media. So they're getting business off social media. Yasmin's working on her first listing also from social media.
Very good.
Yeah, and so, and they know we're excited. They helped me with one of my listings, where we walked in to do the open house and we had marketed, a week before. And our sellers were very quiet and, didn't tell anybody that their home was for sale. And as soon as we walked through the door, they're like, our family knows our house is for sale. Our son's job, his coworkers are telling him his house is for sale. We're like, wait, it's all over TikTok and Instagram. So somehow the algorithm worked. I don't know how.
And it got to
They're
that.
not friends with them or anything. And so, because of that, at the, when we were negotiating offers, the sellers were super impressed with all the marketing or whatever. So they offered them a $5,000 bonus.
Oh, wow. Very good.
They do
That's
really
amazing.
well.
So you integrate with social media.
So
Yes, I've seen their social media, they do
is-
really good.
is great, and like I said, they have, they have fans for life, because they're raving, and they're raving fans of theirs. So marketing, is working if you put the effort into it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort,
But I think it's great how you just said that, and I think people need more of that, where when you first start in real estate, like real live, because you need live situations. So like that, like you letting them help you with your listing is priceless. Like I would have literally worked for free day in and day night, like day in and night, if somebody would have just let me help them with their listing, when I was brand new, like to do anything because that's hands-on training.
Yeah.
So that's what matters, and now you know what to do for yours.
yeah. No, they're really good at open houses. I mean, that's something that, you have to find where you're good at.
Right.
But I feel very confident now leaving them, by themselves. I watch them, I kind of let them.
How they're
lead.
talking to people.
Yeah, take the lead, and like exactly, just like Cara was saying, they already know, to be prepared. I tell them, you need to know everything about that property, because you don't want to seem, like you said, your age is against you, but when you start speaking, they're gonna be like, wow, this person knows way more, because of course people judge, right? But the minute they start speaking, they know how to respond, they know how to answer. So it's
Exactly. Who is that woman on the cabinet right now? She's 27, youngest House Speaker, whatever. And I listened to her speak. I was like, wow, she is on it.
Yeah.
She's in it to win it.
Yeah.
That woman knows what she's doing. So.
Maria, can I ask you your telephone number? Because I have someone who will buy your property.
Oh.
It's a
Oh,
priest
look,
that
sold.
he's in Victorville.
Oh, yeah.
So, and the price range is what he needs if he wants something like that.
Oh, yeah. 909.
Your marketing worked.
I know, like, 236-8117. Am I getting it?
Pink, You're getting pink. No, but I'm really
It's in
excited.
Mr. Valley.
I haven't felt like that.
Um,
For a long
but
time.
it's
They're just
very-
breath of fresh air.
Oh,
Is it
I
the
bet.
real?
But this is so great having this
I love
forum
you guys
like this, so.
Right?
we can
Oh, they're
build
great.
that
Like,
connection.
You can learn so much.
Yeah.
Stare at each other in the
No,
eyes.
and you know what, one thing that I like about this, company that I used to work before a long time ago, was in 321, one of the solutions was. But we had these meetings where we will say, okay, so I have a buyer who's looking for this. So he will say buyers to buy and sellers to sell, and then we will match so that everything will stay within the company.
You have to come were you at the success rally, the first one?
No, because it was
Okay,
raining.
I know, but we were sure.
Because I was sick for
Only come sunny
You're
days.
sweet, but-
Only come to sunny days.
Partly cloudy, it's like, it's 40 right there.
Okay, then come to the next one, because on the next one, that's what we're gonna do, like share, you know, buyers and wins and properties. and-
But
we can watch it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
1160
Of the photos that you
Church
for
Street
the-
in Pasadena, yeah,
And then
Uh,
that's it. Just in
2.9,
case, yeah, to get it.
but we're lowering it to 2.8.
Nice too. She has a video.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't you- Is that the one you have a video for? That you showed
James
us?
is talking. James is another one that has to talk. James. Hey, James is also going to the dinner, right, on Monday?
On Monday, that is correct.
Okay. James is also on the board. James is also on the NAREP board.
I am on the offer, yeah.
Yes.
So they have a choice. So
James
you're
is in
ready.
it to win it this year. Did have a choice.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Sorry, what were you gonna say? Jim?
No, I was gonna say you have a video that you can share of the property. It's a beautiful property in Pasadena that we saw. I think you showed me something
Yes, you
a
showed
a
us,
few weeks
yeah.
ago.
Yeah,
It's
good
actually-
video.
We need to do a broker's open there. I think that would be good.
Did you contact that person I told you to contact? I gave you the information like right there.
No, then you said the agency.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, you gotta do that. They'll, for sure you'll have a buyer
Yeah,
there.
but there's a lot of agencies, the agency in Pasadena. And you,
It's prime area. You'll get and I know a agent off the bat, I'll probably have a buyer for that.
how much is it for the leasing?
I think I was
2.8, she's reducing it 2.888. Huh? It's really nice.
You can cut the recording.
South Pasadena.
As our formal time is.
Is it in person or?
Thank you.
Yeah, 2.8.
No.